Of course I do. I'm going to three Thanksgiving celebrations tomorrow, one at the U.S. Embassy, another for lone soldiers, Americans serving in the Israeli army.
Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. That must be a
Big,
lot of
big
fun.
celebration. Turkey and beer. It's the best.
Turkey and beer, you got it. I liked it when Mike Pence went to Al Assad this week. Dr. Oren, can you give us a quick? I want to ask you about Jeremy Corbyn anti-Semitism and that astonishing interview, which you may or may not see with Andrew Neil last night. But first, what is going on in Israel? And I want to follow up. Have you decided to get in yet?
Okay, first of all, a little bit of egg on my face. This last time I spoke to you, we talked about the political situation, the deadlock between all the parties. And about an hour after I got off the phone with you, Hugh, the Attorney General announced that he would then have a press conference and then outline the indictments against Prime Minister Netanyahu. Three indictments, two for improper conduct, breach of public trust, and one for bribery, which is very, very severe. And that has then thrown what they say, a cat among the pigeons, has transformed everything, or appeared to, though the polls last night show that we are in exactly the same political deadlock that we were before the announcement, only that the parties have actually dug in their heels even deeper. So as of today, we don't know if we're going to a third round. There are another, say, 17 days to work this out, but nobody seems to have an answer right now. And the situation politically here is very polarized. I would say combustible. Last night, a huge demonstration in favor of Netanyahu and protesters calling to arrest and imprison the prosecutor and the attorney general.
Have you talked to either the PM, Ambassador Dermer, or anyone in his inner circle since the indictments came down?
I have. And
Are they resolute?
Very. Right. They feel that an injustice has been done, and they're going to prove the prime minister's innocence, and that will further prove that the deep state, to put it in American terms, has been out to effect a coup, as they say.
Now, you're a historian, and I got into an argument with Seb Gorka. I don't use the deep state about American politics or any politics where there isn't actually a secret police and a lack of judicial process. As a historian, ought we to mark that boundary carefully?
I think so. And I'm very disturbed about what's going on in this country. I'm disturbed what's going on in your country, Hugh. And that what we see now is a sort of a meltdown among a large segment of the public in state institutions, in the police, in the judiciary, in your country, in the Congress. And that's, I think, is a dangerous situation for democracies. The big difference between us is that I think we can afford it a lot less. We're surrounded by Iran and its proxies, tens of thousands of missiles. We can't afford to indulge, if you would, in a political stalemate for very long.
So, Michael Oren, I want to get your reaction. The chief rabbi of Great Britain yesterday denounced Jeremy Corbyn, said he's unfit for office. Jeremy Corbyn went on with Andrew Klein last night, would 4 times refuse to apologize for anti-Semitism in his interview. I don't have time to play it for you. What do you make of Jeremy Corbyn and this anti-Semitism as an issue that is dominating this election? I think it's basically become Boris versus the anti-Semites.
And keep in mind that the Archbishop of Canterbury backed up the chief rabbi of Britain. A great ecumenical moment. It is very, very disturbing, and it shows, a state of extreme populism in Great Britain and indeed in the world. The rise of anti-Semitism in Europe and also in the United States, and that a candidate can be a serious contender for a national position for the Prime Minister of Britain and be an anti-Semite and condone anti-Semitism in his own party. Very disturbing. If Corbyn is elected, as much as half of Britain's 270,000 British Jews would consider leaving the country.
It's kind of a remarkable moment. Why do you think the British Labour Party has collapsed into this cesspool of hatred?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the blurring of the line between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. The deep flirtation between Jeremy Corbyn and his party with Palestinian terrorists, with Islamicists, and a latent anti-Semitism, which goes back in Great Britain for almost 1,000 years. We forget that Jews were not even allowed in Britain for hundreds and hundreds of years. Shakespeare, writing about Jews in, say, The Merchant of Venice, didn't even know a Jew, didn't meet one, because Jews Jews were not allowed into the country. It was only Cromwell who allowed the Jews back into the country in the middle of the 17th century. So it's hardwired into Great Britain. We think of Britain being a very liberal country, but there's a darker side to the country as well.
That is a good reminder. Also, a great reminder that Thanksgiving is celebrated around the world wherever there are American troops and, of course, Americans, even if they've changed citizenship as you have to Israeli. Happy Thanksgiving, Michael Oren. Say hello, and happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans you see tomorrow.